We do not know how the future will look like. What we do know is everyone needs to, again, equip themselves. Then we talk about the efficiency and the opportunity with AI.
What would happen if we just told the truth?
Welcome to TruthWorks, where we dig into the nitty-gritty of leadership and work.
And what needs to change. I'm Jessica Neal.
And I'm Patty McCord.
Our journey together started in HR, but trust us, it's evolved into something wild, honest, and well, a bit rebellious.
So throw out the handbook. We're here to redefine rules to work for us, not against us.
Let's dive into another episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TruthWorks. I am Jessica Neal, your host, and Patty McCord is still recovering. We love you, Patty. Get better. I've been saying that many episodes. She is going to come back, I promise. But exciting news today. I have a friend of mine on the show who, I don't know, we have a little bit of a similar story, but her name is Anna Lundström. She is the CHRO of Spotify. And Anna, I'm not going to tell your whole story because I want you to tell it, but I feel like I grew up at Netflix and then kind of got promoted to be CHRO. You grew up at Spotify and got promoted to be CHRO. So I think we have that in common, and it's fun and honor to have that happen. But then it's an incredibly hard job. And sometimes, I don't know if you experienced this, but sometimes people see you as the baby you were when you were growing up, and they don't always see you as the CHRO. So how are you? How's it going? How's the new job? Tell us everything.
First and foremost, so great to be here, Jessica. It's an honor to do this podcast together with you. And I feel like we instantly clicked, when we chatted back in the spring. So thank you. And super, of course, excited to talk about this together with you.
Yeah. So how's it going?
I mean, I like to say that the building still stands. No, but that is a joke I'm making. But it's going quite well. I'm, of course, super excited and challenged at the very same time. It's also very interesting that more or less at the same time that my appointment was announced, the whole AI era in the world takes off.
Yes.
I mean, AI is not new, but I think we all can agree that this year is when it took off.
Yeah.
So I kind of added that to my plate of, responsibilities.
Yes. No, I know. Laszlo was on the show.
Right.
A little while ago, and we were just talking about how complicated this job is and how complicated it's become over the years, because not only are you the HR strategist and talent strategist for the company, you're also the chief medical officer, the chief diversity officer, the COO, and now you're the chief AI officer.
100%.
And there's just the amount of things that this role has to figure out is just really complex. So how are you, I want to hear all about the AI stuff, but how are you handling all of that?
Yeah, I'm so happy to share. And then if I take a step back, I think, you asked also like, how's it been going? And also talking about all these different things we have on our plate as CHROs. I'm genuinely grateful for the almost 10 years I've gotten at Spotify. So I've seen the company grow up. Like I started here when we were a startup, like a couple of thousand employees, and now we're close to 7,000 and much more of we don't like to say mature, but we're kind of left our teenage years behind. And I'm also very lucky that I was set up very well by my predecessor, Katarina, who's meant so much to me. And I've done almost every role in HR in this company. So that learning puts me, I think, in a good position now to oversee the HR organization at Spotify. So when a challenge like AI comes in, I have a lot of that foundation to stand on. I have a fantastic team of senior HR leaders that I work with as my colleagues. I don't see them as me leading them in a way. I see us as one team working together, trying to together a transformation journey for the company where we don't have a blueprint, but that's also always been the fun thing with Spotify, that regardless of who you ask that work here, I think everyone would say it's an environment where you get to work on so many creative and challenging things where there's not really a blueprint for most of it. You get to figure it out. And that's what I'm doing right now when it comes to the AI transformation from a people and organizational lens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I think it'd be great for our listeners to kind of hear how you are thinking about that. And because I think, you're right. I mean, like this year, it sort of AI has been around for a long time, but it's at this like inflection point. And, now boards are having conversations about it. They want to know what the strategy is. CEOs are saying, hey, go figure this out. And a lot of organizations don't even know where to start. So how did you think about that? How did you strategize around it?
So happy to share. So I think many knows that we already have worked many years with AI in the product. So we're quite well advanced there. However, when you look at AI within the organization, obviously that was new to us also earlier this year. With AI in the organization, I mean all the variety of jobs and functions that we do have. We have everything from engineering to, of course, music people, to content producers, to business people, and everything in between. So that made it extra interesting and challenging to put. How do you put like an AI transformation strategy together for a company with that kind of employs that broad type of jobs and diverse people, which also makes it really fun. So what I will say is my number one key advice is, this is not HR alone running the AI transformation. This is not R&D alone. This is a cross-functional collaboration across the organization. So early on, I partnered with our Chief Product Officer, Co-President and Chief Product Officer, Gustav Söderström, as well as our Head of Platform, Tyson Singer, to put together our beliefs around where we think the organization should be and look like a couple of years from now. Very much also inspired by a lot of conversations that I've had, obviously, with Daniel, our CEO. So we first and foremost focused on humanizing AI. Because as many companies did, Jessica, earlier this year, they all went out and shouted from the roofs, like, you have to get on the AI train. And of course, we said that to our employees, but we said it with a different lens. We said, you have to become future ready, both for your development and career advancement at Spotify, but also in the world. Like, regardless of where you go, AI is here to stay. It's not an era.
Right.
And what do we mean by humanizing it? Well, we obviously shared a lot of advice and recommendations how you can learn with AI. So we leaned into the learning with a broad plethora of trainings and tools that we quickly offered up. So we gave everyone ChatGPT licenses early on. We put together our own trainings around, this is how you prompt very effectively. This is kind of security items you need to think about when working with or playing around with AI. Then we offered up a full week of hacking with AI that usually was set aside for the R&D communities. So we call it Hack Week. We opened it up to the full company. And we asked everyone to submit their hacks. And then we shared it out. And we keep sharing it out. And then on a broader company level, we have put together like a governing body, if you will, like a steer code that is called AIM, AI Momentum, that represents representatives on senior levels from all these various functions that I mentioned. And Tyson, our head of platform, and myself are the co-sponsors. And that governing body is very much functions in a way where we make decisions around what tooling should we offer, ensuring that we not do duplicative efforts when it comes to initiatives and things like that. It's really, really, really leaning into the cross-collaborative partnership across the company to drive this transformation forward.
Yeah, I that resonates because I really feel like that's the only way that you can make progress. But what I love about what you said is where you all started. You sort of started with your philosophy, your beliefs, right? And then you went from there. And where I see a lot of companies, they're just doing a bunch of stuff, right? They're trying a bunch of stuff, which is also good, but they also aren't grounded in like, here's what we believe in. Here's our philosophy around it. And I think that when you have that as a foundation, It allows you to collaborate more effectively and, experiment and test and quickly figure out what really does work and what doesn't. But when you don't have a clear grounding or belief, it's hard to build from.
100%. So we've started with it there. And again, it's formed by the conversations I had very early on with Gustav, with Daniel, with some other senior leaders at the company. And we're calling the strategy from here to there. And we have painted a picture of there. And then we're basically going to figure out to take steps there. But we have a set of beliefs. And it's much better, we think, to have a set of beliefs that we can then deviate from, rather than, as you say, just trying a bunch of different things and then you don't really know what you're supposed to do with them or what the end goal is. Rather, we painted the end goal and then we're going to work our way there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're finding. What's exciting?
I'm very humble to the fact that we have a very digital workforce already. Our employees were early on, like jumping on that train and very excited about AI. I actually don't find a lot of employees in our company that are expressing fear around AI.
That's great.
I think it comes from both from the actual type of roles we do employ and like the digital first mindset. But I will say, and I like to say that the approach we have taken has also made people excited, because we have said to our employees, we're going to equip you to become future ready. We're going to be with you along the journey. You're going to have to, of course, learn yourself, but here you go. So we have a super high adoption. It's almost like 100% now in terms of usage of AI. So that moved super quickly. I think the inflection point was that week when we offered Hack Week up to everyone, was in May this year. Then people just jumped. So we find that people are on the journey with us. We have very transparent and good communication. Everything from tactical questions coming from staff into like our AIM program, but also sharing out senior leadership learnings, how we play with AI and so on. And that sharing has also led to, I think, an openness around how we all dare to talk about the efficiencies with AI, the opportunities with AI, maybe the risks with AI. So we have an open dialogue in the company around it, which is super important. And we are still very much experimenting. So we were not there yet in our here to there, but we have the foundations are great. We have a great foundation to stand on.
Yeah. And I think what's important about what you just said is there's a lot of fear for employees around this. And I think when you're rolling it out like you all are, where it's like, we're going to help you, we're going to educate you, you have to learn this no matter what, versus some companies are more restrictive or more controlling around, instead of like, here are the things you need to know, the risk, right? Here's how to handle those risks. Right. But let's go experiment and try, versus like only do this one thing and try this one thing. And they make it a very scary thing. And, we don't know how it's going to impact jobs. And nobody does, but I think being honest about that and teaching your employees and bringing them along on the journey is a way to subside that fear.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And another piece that we very much talk about is, yes, we do not know how the future will look like. What we do know is everyone needs to, again equip themselves. Then we talk about the efficiency and the opportunity with AI. So we talk a lot about a lot of the tools that exist today will help you become more efficient. And then you will take that time and you redeploy it into your opportunity list. All of us have this opportunity pool that you're just waiting to tap into it. I have this to-do list of usually those things on my to-do are the more complex, the more lengthy, the ones that you like, I will get to them soon.
Yeah, one day.
One day. What if you carve out that time much quicker now? So that's how we talk about AI also. Like, for example, we work with the bets. Like, that's our goals. And this last cycle, we had 40 bets that we delivered.
We did bets at Netflix too.
I'm sure it's a common name in the tech world. But we then say, what if we could do 60 bets in the next cycle, but with the same number of people and in the same amount of time? So that is a way to talk about and engage people also with the really how to redeploy and the tedious work, get help with AI, and like get creative with the time you have on your hands.
Yeah. And is that what you're seeing right now, just in terms of the things that you have rolled out, is it's more saving people time on administrative, like, things that take a ton of time, but then when those are kind of off your plate, to your point, you have a lot more free time to focus on the strategic stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Or have you guys stumbled on anything that you think is really game changing, or
I think right now we're still in experimental phase, but very much seeing early effects, such as like time gained, being able to spend much more on strategy and creative thinking. And I think we've done it. What you need to be mindful about is also that, as with all type of learnings, it takes a bit more of your time first to kind of work with AI and get used to AI, and then I think that like hockey stick effect is gonna come, and we're starting to climb on that effect now. But we have also allowed for employees to take that time to learn. So
cool.
Yes,
so cool.
It's very fascinating times.
Yeah, no. Okay, well, let's talk about you in this role, and it's less new now. You're sort of getting your sea legs, if you will. But what are you learning? What's different for you?
Very good question. I'm learning to be doing like talks like this that I'm doing with you right now, which I
know. Isn't that is a big adjustment. I was like, why do I have to do these things?
Right.
Like, I have so much work to do. Yeah.
So very much, yes, that ambassadorship is, I mean, again, Katarina was amazing putting me many times in the front seat, but now when you like are in the CHRO job, you are really the front facing person. So that's kind of new, and I'm actually learning a lot around how to do that effectively, getting the help I need, like very much getting used to preparing for talks, both like this podcast wise, or doing a keynote, or participating in an article. So that is challenging and fun.
Yeah,
I would say. I keep sounding like a broken record around the AI piece, but that is a fully new lens.
Yeah.
Add that to the complexity of everything a CHRO have to do. And I think I would say the majority of all areas that I'm overseeing, as I said, I've done the roles in already. This is new. No one has the answer, and you kind of need to dig into it.
Yeah. And is it what you thought it was going to be?
Yes. Or even better.
Okay. Okay, good.
It's even better. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
I
get a lot of energy out of having a full plate, which I think we all can relate to, right?
Yes, for sure. Well, I think what's great about you too is that you kind of held every job you could have, so some people who, grow into this role, maybe they come from the HR side and that's really kind of all they've seen, or maybe they come from the recruiting side, but you kind of did everything.
Yeah.
So you really kind of knew all facets of the role. I feel like that's an advantage.
Yeah. For my team, a disadvantage, not really, but I know where the bodies are buried. I'm like, I know this is hard, or I know shouldn't be so hard. And
yes.
I genuinely believe, and I've said this too, obviously, because a big part of my job is coaching leaders. And I always say that the most effective leaders, like, you actually know the technicalities of the job. Of course, you have to have the leadership skills and kind of the inspirational skills as well, but knowing the technicality of the jobs you're overseeing is I think, a key cornerstone that you need to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that people are just fascinated with the company because, similar to Netflix, like, you're a household name, my 5-year-old's like, play it on Spotify, and so you're something that are a product that is in people's lives and days, and brings joy and distracts them from whatever else is going on in their lives, and gives them a minute to relax or listen to something or learn something or just dance. And you have to have, I think, with that kind of success, you have to have a culture and an operating model that allows you to continue to do that year after year. And we had that at Netflix and still do. And I know that Daniel and Reed are very different, but they actually think kind of similarly around some of these principles around operating and culture. And I think they have similar views on compensation. So tell us a little bit about the culture and how you guys think about operating and running the business.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. And this is also very timely for me as there's a lot of exciting work going on in this specific area when it comes to culture. So if we take a couple of steps back, actually 2 years ago, we did quite a lot of changes to our operating rhythm by appointing 2 co-presidents. So Gustav, who runs the R&D side, and then Alex, who runs the business. And they very much changed the operating rhythm by implementing an E-team. An E-team is our top 20 most senior leaders across the company, representing all different functions at Spotify. And E-team is actually stands for execution team. It's not the executive
It's not
team.
Executive. Yeah, that's
execution.
good.
And this team that I'm part of, we meet every week, every Tuesday for 3 hours straight to discuss everything from checking in on that bet board. How are we doing? What's maybe blocking? What's maybe need to be accelerated? What's going well? Where we need to pivot and things like that. We also talk about broader strategic items, updates, and a broad variety of things. But the whole focus is to move the company forward with the execution mindset that team has. So that's the kind of baseline for the operating rhythm. And then obviously 2023 was also a pivotal year because we, as many other tech companies, realized that they had hired a bit too much. Money wasn't free anymore. They had to make some tough decisions to kind of and be more OPEX focused going forward. So at the end of 23, we made that difficult but necessary decision to do a reduction in force. And since then, obviously, the company doing extremely well from a business and product lens, and also we have created a very famous culture. So what I will get to now with the culture is that as we implemented this new operating model about 2 years ago, that team started to work very differently, and which also has triggered effect throughout the company. And again, we started to do really well from a business lens. We hadn't then started to say out loud what were the behaviors that were maybe new, or maybe needed to be tweaked to kind of maintain this new rhythm and this new focus of ours. And that is what my team has now actually worked through. So we've had a set of values that are has really, really served us well all throughout our startup and scale up era. And now we felt, based on the new operating rhythm and where we are today and where we are going, that these values took us to where we are today. And we are not forgetting where we came from, but we need to evolve to unlock where we need to go.
Yeah.
So as of right now, I'm working on a rollout of our new values across the company.
That's exciting. I think, one of the things that I see companies do is they don't do that. Right? And we were always at Netflix thinking about evolution. And of course, you have this foundation, right? That you built the company upon, which, are your values. And you don't forget those. But at the same time, as you grow and you scale, some become more important, some become less important. There are new ones, right? And you have to rework that operating model. It's not just these words that are on posters on the walls or memos that you send out. This is how the company makes decisions. It's how you get alignment. It's how people know what to do, right? And I just wish more companies spent time really thinking about that and being willing to throw out what doesn't work, add in new elements that are going to amplify, right? And propel people. And I don't know how you feel, but I always felt about my job as I never thought about myself as the CHRO. I didn't even like the way that sounded,
yeah.
But I thought about myself as the chief effectiveness officer. My job was to make the company more effective, get the alignment, get the communication, get people moving so that we could go at a pace where we could actually win and achieve all this stuff.
I love that so much. That definitely resonates with me.
Yeah. So talk to me, talk to me about how, and I don't know, I think you and I are lucky probably versus some maybe other people that are in similar roles to what we have had, is that we have founders and executives that are invested in this work.
Yeah.
Right?
Very much.
And they know that it's important. And so when we would try to make these shifts at Netflix, like I could actually make them.
Yes.
Because there was an investment at the top, right? And they were equally going to do the same amount of work that I did. Right. So talk to us a little bit about that and how did you roll this out and how do you get everybody to do it? Because I think that it's almost easy to kind of see the areas of opportunity, but it's really hard to change behavior.
Oh, yeah. I think it's so passionate about talking about this. And I think it actually served us really well that we had already transformed from an operating model perspective. You may want
Which came from the top. Yeah.
Yes. And you may want to we should have done maybe shifted our values 2 years ago. No, I don't think so, because a couple of years into the new operating model, then it's quite clear what journey we're on, who we have become. Our employees resonate with the new ways of working. So that, and then what I and my team have been doing, and it's very much my senior team that has worked together on this, together with executive team and employees, is that we've done everything from deep interviews with every senior leader at the company to all the regional leaders in the market to get this global lens, to do a lot of workshops across the company with employees to ask for their feedback on existing values, what resonates with them, what maybe do we need to tweak, what does not resonate with them anymore. And then right now we're about to embark on a roadshow that together with more written comms and town halls and internal communication channels, we are also actually going on a more of a physical roadshow to actually talk to our employees across all offices about these new values, ask for their help to kind of, maybe evolve them into a written piece and things like that. So they're very much engaged in it. But so it's a full collaboration with senior leadership, employee buy-in, and the global lens, because we are truly global, plus 40 countries where we have people, 24 markets where we have the product. So obviously what we do and say needs to kind of mirror the world and vice versa.
Yeah, we had similar challenge at Netflix. But I think what's important for people to hear is that you realize that behaviors had changed, you let that kind of codify and learn. And you say, these are the things. You went off, you got lots of data and research. You had buy-in from the top. You had buy-in from, everyone else. And then now you're rolling it out and you're productizing it, right? Like you're going to make it a product. I think without those crucial steps in the beginning, and just kind of going to the rollout, these things don't ever work. You kind of have to do the full thing, and it's a lot of work. So
yeah, it is. But it's also very, very another piece that is very connected to this is the here to there journey that I mentioned, and what took us here will not take us there, and the there is very different to the here, which means that another set of behaviors are needed. So very much resonates with that strategy as well. So it's very much interconnected.
Is there like one you want to talk about? Like one that you think is maybe surprising for people, or it doesn't even have to be surprising. Maybe it's just like a practical, like logical thing.
Yes, it's actually 3. So I'm very happy to talk about it. And this is more caveat for the recording, but this is where we have to wait until the...
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But this is where we wait to November. But yes, there's 3.
Okay.
We make it very simple. So it's one team.
Okay, I like that.
Make it happen.
Okay.
And then it's human judgment.
Okay.
So one team maybe table stakes, but still you cannot emphasize it enough that you cannot be successful here at Spotify if you don't work as a team member. You're part of a team. We collaborate. We're here for the greater good of Spotify. It's not a one-man show here. There's no solo artists, right? We're a band. And two, we make things happen. Again, going back to the execution team, we move really fast. We're very thoughtful and we also are timely in our launches and things like that, but we do make things happen. You should know that if you work here or if you want to work here, that it's execution focused. And then three.
Well, I love that team, the E team, is not executive team, it's execution. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then third is human judgment, which is very much what is the differentiator in the world of AI. You can have all the tooling in the world, but if you don't have the judgment to sort through the noise to yes, this is right or this is wrong. I usually compare it to, when you wrote your thesis in school and you had to state your sources. That's exactly it here. You need to know the sources. You need to use your judgment. If you get this prompt, what is accurate? Is this having that judgment also when you make decisions is absolutely crucial to be successful here.
Well, I mean, we were big fans of judgment at Netflix, and I don't know, it's when people don't have good judgment, it's just, there's nothing, it's like a instinctual thing. You can't teach them how to have good judgment. I mean, you can show case studies, you can, provide examples, but if your instinct is to do X instead of Y, that's really hard. But judgment is so crucial, especially when you want to move fast, right? Because you have to empower people.
Having both is,
so crucial. Well, let's change the topic a little bit because I know we're about to run out of time. There's a lot of folks that listen to the show that are CHROs. There's a lot of HR leaders, but there's a lot of just CEOs, founders, and leaders in general, people that work. So what is your advice to folks that are grappling with how to move things forward in their company, how to operate better, and maybe if you're an individual contributor, how to get your leaders to see these things? What advice do you have?
Yeah, I would always say, this sounds so simple, Jessica, but it is true. Start with the basics. Do not try to come up with this fluffy talent management strategy if you don't have the tactical pieces in order. I like to take an example, when we launched our Work from Anywhere program that is very successful, that is our hybrid work program. What did we do? Well, we solved for every single question that employees or managers may have around Work from Anywhere. We had a FAQ with 60 questions that we had answered in detail. Before we even talked about, let's talk about the nice roll-up. No, let's answer the question. Same with what I talked about here, from the here to there. We have already talked about where we want to get to. Get your basics and the simple things in order. Then you can talk about big transformation or big strategies. But go back to the basics. Solve the basics. Don't boil the ocean. Solve the basics. That's always where I would start.
Yes, that's such good advice because you can't do big transformation if you don't do that. Yeah, it's impossible. Okay. Well, is there any other exciting things that you want to share before we get into career confessions?
I've shared so much. You're in a very
I know. I feel like I'm getting this very special access.
Yeah. No, but I'm very genuinely excited about all the work that we have going on. Yeah, just honored to be in this role at this point in time, not only at Spotify, but in the world.
Yeah, I know. And you're going to look back on this and you're like, oh my God, I did that. It's going to be so crazy. Well, they are incredibly lucky to have you. And I'm lucky that we got to meet and became friends. And so thank you for that. And, I'm here to help you anytime.
I really appreciate that.
Because that's the one thing I didn't do enough of when I was in your role. I was so busy and so heads down. I didn't reach out, and it can be a lonely role.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm here for you. Okay. Will you do a career confession with me?
Yes.
Okay.
How can I say no to that?
Yeah, you can. I won't let you. Okay, so here's the context. It says, our HR team launches programs about inclusion and kindness, but on the ground, nothing really changes. The same clicks, the same voices dominate. How can I, as an individual employee, actually influence culture from the bottom up? What do you think?
So this person is an individual contributor.
Yes. And so they say that they roll out these things, but nothing ever changes. It's the same voices, same clicks. How do they influence from the bottom?
This is where I would always advise to someone at our company, because we also built a very strong HR team and HR business partner team. This is where, if you can't have that conversation or influence via your manager, sounds like you may not be able to, you need to talk to your HR partner.
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah, if you have one. That is like one of the biggest advice I would always get, and that's that if they are there and if they're a trusted partner. Otherwise, it's trickier to come about, but you would guess that there is also an outlet for providing feedback. Mm-hmm. That is more neutral. Yeah.
Yep.
Do we know if that's the?
We don't know. But I think that's great advice. Like, seek guidance from your HR partner. Yes. But I also think if you don't have an HR partner, or you're not sure who your HR partner is, maybe you can find out. But I think if you trust your boss too enough, or if there's another senior person that you've made a connection with, to go to them, and not to say we're terrible at these things, or, but to be curious and to say, hey, I'm really curious. Like we rolled this out a few months ago. How do you think it's going?
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell you my experience. And I think it goes better when it's less accusatory.
Yes, a very much balanced feedback for sure. Yes, always balance your feedback. That's how you also build trust and are seen as you will be taken much more seriously as well.
But the top might feel the same as this person, right? So, and then maybe because this person's bringing it up together, they can figure out how to roll it out differently or better.
Yeah. And ideally, you have also forums where you can talk to leadership. There may be a town hall or where you can submit input or questions, and they're getting answered in real time. Yeah, that would otherwise be my advice for this company to have to get that feedback, so you understand what are really employees' opinion about this rollout or this program.
Yes, perfect. Well, I am so glad that you joined me, and I'm so glad that you're in your new role, which isn't so new anymore. And I'm just excited to talk to you a year from now.
Yeah, thank you.
And see how it's going. So congratulations, and thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me. The pleasure was all mine.
Yay!
Thanks for listening to TruthWorks.